Welcome back to Cooking Simple and Easy. Today we're going to make one dish that I bet you're going to love. I bet most of you have heard of something called gazpacho. Gazpacho is known as a tomato cold soup from Spain. Being from Spain myself, I really would not call it that because honestly, I don't really like Bloody Marys. Don't kill me for that. I don't really like tomato soup, and yet I love gazpacho. A lot of you may know the history of gazpacho, and gazpacho is really known to be from the southern part of Spain, from the Andalusia section, where Seville is, and it's a beautiful area. But this is a soup. Again, I don't know that I would call it a soup that is eaten everywhere in Spain. So what I want to teach you today is how my mother would cook this for us, when we were little. So, would you please come over and I will show you the ingredients. On this cutting board, we have what we actually use. So this is onion, and it's going to be 1/4 of an onion. And this will serve 2 people. So of course multiply as you wish. A large tomato, or you can use 2 smaller ones. And the way we used to do a cucumber is you measure with your fingers. So about 3 fingers of a cucumber. So about this far off. And then when you're done with, and you will see this, when you're done, then you can add some jamón serrano, the famous jamón serrano, and some chopped hard-boiled egg. We're going to put all of this together. I'm going to add it to the food processor or blender, and I will show it to you. Yes, I do have on the side salt, the famous Spanish olive oil, and some bread in case we need to thicken it. But let me show you the process, and then you will see how it's all put together. So, I will see you 1 second after I have all of this ready. Thank you. And we're back. So, here comes the next part of this wonderful meal. To make a gazpacho, you definitely need either a good food processor or an optimal blender. Of course, probably the food processor is my favorite part of my kitchen. And what you need to do is make sure you have washed all of your vegetables, and very easily, I love this utensil, this tomato core peeler. You take the top and the bottom, you cut it. If you have a good food processor, you don't need to peel your tomatoes. If your food processor is so-so, you may want to peel the tomatoes. You know, you cut the top and the bottom, you put hot boiling water on it, you let it sit, the peel would fall right off. So we start putting the tomatoes. I like to start having the food processor do the job slowly. And I want you to look at what's happening. So I'm going to turn it on. So as you see already, the tomatoes are starting to liquefy. let's go ahead and add some more of the ingredients. Let's try the cucumber. And again, you can add at will. I like to add the tomatoes first because a machine like this needs liquid. Your blender will too. Let's now add the onions. I'm adding this many onions, this much. I said about a quarter of an onion. Please realize that this will make the gazpacho hot. So if you don't want a hot gazpacho, spicy gazpacho, add less. If you have a strong stomach, please add more. Just don't blame me. At this point, we add a pinch of salt. Now, I love how we have these measuring spoons that are just a pinch. Oh, I'm so good at doing pinches. It'd be much better if I could dip it in, right? And we are now going to add 2 tablespoons of olive oil. And again, I'm doing it over the cutting board because I very well may spill, especially if the bottle is heavy, which this one is not. So this is one. And this is the next one. Now, before I turn on the food processor again, there's something I want to tell you. I'm giving you measurements. I'm telling you what you should try. As a Spaniard, I actually had to sit down and figure this out, basically based on what my mother told me. I don't measure. Especially with olive oil, I just go, this is very natural to me, so it's not really something that I normally would do. I wouldn't take out a tablespoon and measure it, but I wanted to see and have a good idea what I would normally add. I would actually probably add a little more, but just in case, let's start with this. Now we are going to make sure that this liquefies for quite a bit. We don't want it to be a real soupy soup like liquid. We don't want it to be chicken soup liquid, the broth. So I'm actually going to add a slice of bread in a little bit, but I will stop and I will show you. First, I want to make sure that quite a bit of this has thickened. So I'm going to turn it on and I will see you in a couple of minutes. I don't know if you can really tell from there, but now this has really blended together. It's like the food has integrated. So I'm going to add just a little bit of bread. Start with a little bit. Actually, you know what I want to do? I want to show you how much it has thickened before I add the bread. Look. Look at the thickness. So I really don't want to add too much bread. Only a little bit, because we can always add a little bit more olive oil if it gets too thick. So I'm going to add a little bit of bread and let it run again. And truly it's quite unbelievable. With a good food processor, this is done in no time. Let's do a little bit of a test to see whether it needs anything else. Now some of you may like it a little more salty. That is completely up to you. I prefer something that is not too salty. I'm going to put this aside. And also, don't forget that if you do choose to add some jamón serrano on top of it, that will increase the saltiness. So, we take the food processor, we pour some. I made a mess. And now, very simple. We just take a little bit of jamón serrano, we put it in the middle, at least that's the way I like to do it. And then we take some of the chopped egg, or you can do it the other way around, and we put it right next. And bon appetit! We have gazpacho. And now, if you don't mind, Now, of course, I would probably put a little more onion in it, but it's delicious. This is definitely going to be my dinner. Now, just so you know, a couple of variations. You could put a little bit of breadcrumbs on top. We call it breadcrumbs, but you know, just hard bread. I do want to let you know that the typical gazpacho does not have peppers in it. But I do want to share with you that what we're going to be doing is I am going to be giving you now variations of this recipe. So please make sure you subscribe if you like this video. You hit the like button and the notifications, because we're going to be doing salmorejo, watermelon gazpacho, and all kinds of other ideas based on the same. Simple and easy. Adios.